Talk time on the Foreplay Podcast. Why do I have 2 drinks? Because I'm double fisting, because I'm not a little boy. Okay?
Let's duct tape into your hands then.
Yeah.
I was saying to Kevin when I was drinking my 40 earlier that we're going to have to do a podcast where we do Edward 40 hands.
Edward 40 hands. Yep.
We'll see how it goes. Has anyone here done it?
I have.
Yeah, I've done it. Mike?
You would not be able to survive.
I've done it. And let me tell you why.
How recent, though?
No, during the problem, but let me tell you. I needed Nicole there because shout out to my girlfriend. I needed to use the restroom. She accompanied me and assisted me.
That's cheating.
That's not.
So what is he supposed to piss on himself?
Yeah, that's the game. You're supposed
that's
to.
A horrible
you're supposed
game.
to drink them until like.
That's like Chinese water torture. I don't know. That's not a game anymore.
That's just holding it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's legit the game though. Because you can't take them off.
All right, so we'll go in the ocean and I'll just piss in the bathing suit or something. I don't fucking know.
Jump head first into the hot tub.
Swan dive with 240.
First of all, shout out to pissing on the beach. I was at this was a few weekends ago now. Me and a few of my buddies from my old college. We went down to Sea Isle, New Jersey, and we were on the beach there. And one of my buddies I don't know what the hell was wrong with him. He was in one of those situations where like literally like every 15 minutes he had to piss. So all of a sudden, every 15 minutes, you see this kid just go running down. He wouldn't even go deep into the water. He'd reach the point where he was like shin deep. Just get down on one knee. One knee, just let it flow. Get up, run back.
That's fantastic.
And it happened all day.
I thought you were going to say he was sprinting towards the water and you could just see it streaming.
No, but like there were families sitting right there, and like literally probably about 50 times during that day they had to watch this kid run by, get down on a knee in the water, and then run back.
Is this the friend that watches our stuff? So he'll hear this story. All right, good. What's his name?
Hayden.
Shout out to you, Hayden. So, Mike, we're not talking about peeing in the ocean today, but what are we talking about?
I didn't really obviously came with the topic, but I didn't really come with like what I wanted to talk about. Like I want
a general idea.
Yeah. Like I just want to talk about like I said generations.
You
right?
just open a dictionary and just
that's the word I landed on.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to talk about like how different our parents to our generation is. Like because like how they say like, oh well, like when I was a kid, like blah 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 and shit like that. But like I always feel like our parents always say that shit and saying it was harder back then, when I think a lot of shit is harder now.
I like what you said, because I think about this all the time, I swear to God. And I truly feel, and I guess every generation says this, but I think we were seriously born in the best generation. Like as our specific age and time frame. So I'm talking about like
yes and no.
I'm thinking 22 to like 26-year-olds, I think. Because we experienced life. Christian is my childhood best friend from fucking like 2nd grade. I feel like we were the last true generation that hung out outside every day of the week. And by the time we started to grow old and mature, cell phones started to come around, and we also got that other age. So I feel like we're the last generation to experience both worlds. We didn't go outside with cell phones every day.
You would go and knock on people's front doors.
Like, hey, can Brandon come outside and play?
You had to call their house phone. And
but there was nothing worse. All right, it's bad enough when you know somebody's not doing something and you call them and they don't answer. But there was nothing worse than knowing somebody's home, and you knock on their door, and then you have their parents tell you that they're not home or they're doing something. But this is, you know, for a fact they were not doing shit.
But like with this shit, like it was so fucking normal that I'm not gonna say them out loud. But I still know your fucking house phone and your fucking house phone because I would call them.
I know.
You remember mine too?
I still remember.
I can't remember it.
I don't even have a house phone anymore.
Yeah, we don't have a house phone either.
So am I allowed to say your number then?
Yeah.
262-3604.
Yep.
Like because that was the only way we were able to communicate. And like me and Christian Mike hung out with us all the time back in the day. So like us three would hang out quite often. There's a story where we were wrestling, or Christian, you were getting into a fight with one of our friends.
What?
And you were getting into a fight with your neighbor. I don't want to put him on blast.
Oh,
and you were like,
that,
he pulled out something. You're like, Yankee, what's that shiny metal machine? Do you remember that? And you started like freaking out. And me and Mike were just.
What was it?
I think I don't fucking know at this point, but just all this stupid shit. But it's like their generation only played outside. At least we had some of the techie stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like on rainy days and snowstorms, you could do stuff inside.
Exactly. We still had like video games and stuff, but
But it wasn't like top priority.
no.
Like,
But it's just like kids that now they go outside and they're just cell phone. Like they're addicted to their fucking cell phones. And I don't.
Yep.
Do you blame them? Like if you like at that if we
It's
had
not their fault.
if we had the world in our hands, kids, that's all we would do. I mean,
I'm not disagreeing with you like on that part that we grew up in like the best time, but I'm talking about like I just can't stand how our parents are always saying like, oh, like you guys have it good or whatever. It's just
No.
like I feel like that's so wrong because I feel like it was 10 times easier to get a job back then.
one.
Yeah,
And,
that
like,
I agree with.
just like shit like that, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
and like
So-
living on your own, I feel like was a lot easier to do back then.
So what do you? Where are those? Like, is that where you think they're coming from when like this is said? Like, what do you think their reasoning is for?
I don't know. Like I don't know. I feel like they just think our generation is just full of lazy people. It's
Which
just
is-
very, well.
It's
I don't know.
Well, it's just because we have access to so much information
Mhm.
in a matter of
Yeah.
seconds.
to me,
You
it's
know, whereas like if they
But
when they
I
were
feel
in
like
school,
it's not our fault though. Like
Nah,
I wouldn't say we're lazy because
Yeah.
of
it's
it.
just
like,
it's 10 times easier to be lazy now because of everything.
yeah, like you need to literally find something out. You're not gonna run to the library to find it out.
No, like I listen to podcasts all the time, which is why I started wanting to do this. And I don't know which one or when, but I remember one podcast was having a conversation where a kid wrote in and he was like, "Oh, what do you guys do when you're bored?" And like the one guy freaked out. He's like, "How the fuck are you bored now?" Like
there's no reason to be bored.
there's
Yeah,
And-
I'm
and
bored
we-
all the time.
yeah, but we and I say it too. I'm just as guilty, but it's like, how the fuck are we bored? Where at any moment we could pull up the entire like world's information
Well,
from our phone and shit.
I think that actually is like a problem of our generations that like I have like I want to read like a shitload of books. There's a shitload of books that
Me
I want
too.
to read, and like those moments where I think in my head that I'm just like, oh, I'm bored. Like that would be the moments that I'm reading it, but it's just like, and I think about it, I'm just like,
It's easier to do
I
something
think I'll
else.
just-
I've got to be
Watch.
honest. I'm rarely bored ever. I don't think I've ever. It's been a long time since I've said I'm bored. Like there's
I say it to fuck with people usually when I hang out at their
well, yeah,
houses,
yeah,
but
you're annoying. That's just because you're annoying. But
Mike, I'm bored. Entertain me.
because there's just like if I have nothing to do on a day, I mean I could sit and like play video games for hours.
Yeah,
and
no
just-
problem.
and have no problem with it whatsoever.
But it's like,
I don't feel like I'm wasting any time.
I think
or-
I usually just say I'm bored when like I want to go out and do something, but there's
Mhm.
nothing to
Yeah,
do.
no,
You know what
I-
mean?
I get that.
That's like when
Now-
I'm actually
Yeah,
bored.
when like the options you have aren't like exactly what you want to do.
yeah, exactly.
no, for me, that's usually inhibited by money. For me, I feel like almost, or not even by my money, by
The last 2 weeks
Yeah.
have been rough.
Really?
I have not worked a lot.
Okay, yeah, but not even like by my money. Sometimes it's other people's money where it's like,
Oh yeah.
Hey,
or
I
you
wanna
have
do-
money and all your
Yeah.
friends are broke, and you're like,
exactly.
"Alright."
It's like I can't like I don't blame you for not wanting to do this because
But
you'll
I
put you
can't
in the
fund
hole.
everyone's funds.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like when it comes to the generation thing, I have really young parents, so I haven't
Okay.
like I don't experience the whole like, oh, when I was your age, because like
So what's the age range
Yeah,
on your
like,
parents?
Her mom's
My
in
mom's-
the Blink 182. And
yeah,
awesome.
like my mom's 40 and I'm 22,
Okay.
so I have really young parents. So I don't really like when I got a computer for the first time. That was my parents' first computer too.
That's really
so
cool,
They were
yeah.
just like, oh, this is so cool. Let's all do this together.
Now, like,
So-
side note on that, is it a thing where, like, I've always been the computer tech fix person for my parents because they still don't know how to use it? Like, are you guys, like, in the same boat
We
with
were
it?
all in the same boat.
So they're very, like, techie
Yeah,
and
we
everything.
all
That's
know
really
what we-
cool.
yeah.
Mhm.
My mom helps me with my computer.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's that other way around.
yeah.
I still have to change the input on my TV in my house because no one knows how to do
Are you
it.
kidding me?
I'll tell you
That's
right now,
crazy.
when I lived, my dad's a little bit better, but when I lived with my mom, I would always walk into the living room and they're watching TV. It's such this
On
is this is
SD,
like a
on-
generation problem. They would watch it in standard definition, and I'd be like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" Oh, it's fine. They don't think anything of it. Like I don't understand how they don't click, but
Because that's still a relatively new thing.
still, it's like this is on like a deeper
Although
level.
actually, it's been like
No, but
No, it's
the
been a
decade.
Long
It's
time.
been like a
it's been a
decade.
long time. But how do we see that and get that? if our parents didn't teach us that. Like, why
I mean,
I
we
don't
were
know,
probably
my
just
dad
exposed
goes
to it
crazy
more.
with that shit
Yeah.
too, though. Like,
standard definition?
if my mom's watching shit,
I guess so, but your dad's like more of a gamer too,
Well,
so I feel
yeah.
like that puts him into that boat, which obviously all of us were predisposed into that boat. But still, it's like I've been thinking about this lately, and I almost want to try it as like a test of doing 30 days without internet. Besides working, I was thinking about that today. I don't know what this is the shit that comes in my head. I don't know. I'm like, besides work, if it's like working needs or stuff for the podcast where I need to be on the internet, I kind of want to try a 30-day pledge of just completely disconnecting.
I'd
For
rather-
you, I don't think you can do it.
And is that really fucked? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like internet's kind of like just this commodity we've like grown up with. It's just like another part of our lives. I
And,
don't
like-
think it's like this like thing we have to like pledge away from.
so we'll
Yeah.
get back on focus with the generation part of it a little bit, because my conversation, which we're going to do on the next podcast, is kind of going into this a little bit. But I don't know. I just feel like we were the best. Like, me and Christian played outside like every single day, and I don't know what our childhoods would be if we were on cell phones. Like, if we had cell phones.
Well, yeah, the other week we were sitting in my backyard, and like I was saying that like my neighborhood like sounded really quiet, and it's like in the middle of summer, and I just remember when I was a kid in the middle of summer, like we were fucking yelling and screaming all the time. Like, our neighborhood was not quiet.
No.
You know, like constantly playing football and
No,
like,
that's even like I go outside now.
manhunt and everything.
And there's like one kid, like me and Christian now again live on the same block where we grew up, and it's like
There's like one kid throwing a ball up against a wall.
no, there's one kid in like my cul-de-sac that plays basketball almost every day, and it's like I don't see anybody
Yeah.
outside
And there's
ever.
enough. I know there's enough younger kids in my neighborhood now that like
But it's
they're
like
at that age that I was.
at
going
our
outside
age,
the
that's
time.
all we had.
Yeah.
That was it.
So are we gonna be saying the same thing?
nostalgia.
have it so easy.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be different.
we're
for us,
border
'cause
on
we've-
that right now.
I mean, we've been on both sides of it, so I mean,
that's why I'm saying I think we were the perfect generation.
But I also think there's gonna
So
be
did the
another
generation
big-
before us, and
Yeah.
then probably the generation after us.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, well, we got to experience cell phones
Yeah.
growing up, but you didn't. To me, it's like the cell phone was such a life changing like world twist. Like the iPhone in 2006 was so fucking like world and like
Yeah,
life
but it wasn't
changing.
really. It was kind of just there for us. Like it didn't really like. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
it didn't feel like a big
Yeah,
reveal
we were
for
just
me.
like,
I was
yeah.
like, oh,
yeah,
what is
this
that?
is supposed to happen. Like,
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
like
don't
we
know.
didn't realize the impact. No one, even
well, yeah, that's
then,
what I mean.
they didn't realize the impact. But we got to experience like life cognizantly before then. Like
Yeah.
we don't remember elementary school that much. Like we remember like some of the things we did, but the for us it came out in 6th grade when we were in 6th grade, like the smartphone,
Mhm.
and like none of our friends.
I didn't
really
get my
had it.
first cell phone until I was in like maybe 8th grade or
I
something.
got
It was
mine-
a stupid. It was a generic flip phone that did nothing.
Yeah,
I had like a
forget what
text.
I
I had a
got.
text limit.
Yeah, I had
and
a,
I could
I
just
didn't even. I didn't even
150
have
texts a
text.
month,
I
that's
just
all.
like could call people. That was it.
I remember like I got mine. An aunt who she actually passed away now that I think of it, but she got me this phone as like a gift for a random birthday, and she never really got me gifts. And she got me like this Virgin Mobile. Do you remember I had this?
Yeah.
And we only had
Yeah.
like 20 minutes of like calling. Like it was a prepaid phone, so we had
Yeah.
to load it. I was like, oh my god, like what am I going to spend this minute like these
That was
minutes
back
on?
when like minutes mattered.
Like that's there's no way a kid now thinks about having a text or a phone limit because they just send texts
Kids
all
don't
day
even think
long.
about having a data limit anymore. You can just surf the, internet for as long as
one
you
of my
want.
favorite internet memes is like the picture of that old internet symbol. That's like that moment when your heart used to drop when you would accidentally click the internet
Yeah.
button on your
Yeah.
cell phone,
It's
and
just
you knew
like-
your parents would get the bill.
Yep.
For,
It's like-
for your 1 second of internet, it costs like a
And now what do we
nickel or
do?
some shit.
Our phones are probably all right now. They're down. We're not looking at them, and they're all still connected to the internet. It's like that's why it's like on a whole nother deep level. It's like I almost have a fear of dying because I want to see where the fuck the world's gonna be in 15 years. Because think about 15 years ago, like that was before any big technology, and it's like I mean I know we were young, but say
Ever watched the video "End of the World"?
end of the world. But it's like, was our parents thinking like back then before cell phones hit that like technology was about to boom?
No, they
or-
couldn't have fathomed anything.
I remember
that
when
came.
I first got a GameCube, my dad was just like, "This is like the peak of technology. This is like as good as it's gonna get."
Yeah, but like on a video games level too, it's like we go back and we play our old games for Let's Plays, and we're like, this looks like shit.
Yeah.
But when we were back then, this was
Uh-huh.
like the most insane graphics we've ever seen.
Yeah, some of the games that honestly ruined the memory that I had.
Me and Mike
from-
did that recently. We played a bunch of PS2 games. We played Star Wars Battlefront 2, and we're like, this
This is garbage.
this is horrible.
Remember
we-
GoldenEye for N64?
We did that.
Tough. Yeah,
That's
it's tough.
awful to play.
But that was
now.
the peak of my
Yeah.
everything at that time. I don't
It's
know.
crazy.
Blockheads.
Blockheads, man. I like it. I like that you didn't know where you were going. A blockhead. Miles too. Shout out. I like that, Mike. You didn't know where we were going, but we had a fun journey on this talk time.
nostalgia.
Topic. Nostalgia. That's the end game. I mean, nostalgia is like a whole another topic where everything.
Nostalgia is
A
my one
powerful-
true weakness.
Yeah.
It
That's
really
right.
is.
At what point in time did we all peak? That's another topic.
Nostalgia junkies.
Ridiculous.
The would you rather question will be right after this short break. Thank you guys for watching or listening.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/4playvideo.
If you like what we're doing, make sure to smash that like button.
Be sure to share all our videos with your friends so we could continue to grow. And we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.